So hey guys, so today we're going to be taking a look at a lead code problem called the longest substring without repeating characters. So the idea is to find a substring within the provided string that does not contain any repeating characters, right? So for example, here we have pww, kew. So in this string we have if you take a look at the final three characters, all of these strings are unique. But the string, if we did take the last four characters, we can see that it has two W. So that's not the longest substring without repeating characters because it does contain repeating characters in it. So in this string, longest substring that does not contain a repeating character is KW, which is of length 3. So the idea is to find the longest substring that does not have any repeating characters. So in this case, everything is repeating, right? So the longest substring without a repeating character is again just one single character of B. In this case, we have a lot of characters, but a substring without a repeating character, maybe we could uh, say ABC is a substring without any repeating characters, or this ABC again is a substring without repeating characters, right? So we're supposed to find the number of the substring that does not contain any repeating character. So the basic idea to solve this problem is to make use of a sliding window. So for example, we're going to take PWWKEW, right? So I'm just going to write it out. So PWWKEW, right? So the idea is to use two pointers, and then we're gonna use a sliding window method to, use those two pointers to go through the string and then find the substring that has the maximum longest substring without any repeating characters, right? So we would have two pointers. So let's say we have I and J, and then we're also going to make use of a set which will contain the unique characters in it. So for example, we would initially have I and J pointing at the same characters. We will be pointing to P here, and we would check if the set contains the value P. So initially the set will not contain any value. So in this case, we are going to add P to the set and then increment the value of J, right? And then we're going to check if the value of J is in the set. In this case, W is not in the set, so we're going to add W here. And then we're going to increment J to the next character here. And then we're going to check again if W is in the set here. So W is there already on the set. So if W is already in the set, well, what we need to do is that we need to remove the character that I is pointing at from the set. So in this case, I is pointing to P. So we're going to remove P from the set, and then we're going to increment I by 1, right? So I is going to come here, and then we're going to do the same check again. We're going to see if J is already in the set. So W is already in the set. So again, we're going to remove the character at I index from the set, and then we're going to increment I. And then we're going to do the same process. We're going to check if J is in the hash set. So we've removed everything from the hash set. So J is not there. So we can go ahead and include the character at position J to the hash set. So we would get a new hash set with W in it. And then we're going to increment J. Now we're going to check if J is in the hash set. So J is not in the hash set. So we're going to include K here. Oh, I'm not. So the character at index J is not in the hash set. So we're going to include K, and then we're going to increment the value of J to the next element, and then we're going to check if E is in the hash set. So E is not in the hash set, so we can go ahead and include E. Next, we're going to increment J, and then we're going to check if the character W is in the hash set. W is in the hash set, so what we need to do is that we need to remove the character at position I from the hash set. So the way that we do that is we just so I is pointing to W right now, so we're gonna remove W from this point here. So while we're doing that, I forgot to mention, so each time when we increment the value of J, we need to set a maximum variable here, right? So maximum will be initially set to 0, and each time we increment J, we're gonna check if the size of the hash set is greater than max. If it is greater than max, we're gonna increment the value of max. So at this point of time, we had three characters in the hash set, so maximum will be three. And at the final stage of the string here, we found that W is here already, so we're gonna remove the character at index I. So in this case, it's W, so we're gonna remove that, and then we're gonna increment I, and then we're going to check if W is already in the hash set. We don't have a W, so we're going to increment W. We're going to include W here, and then when we try to increment J, we're at the end of the string, so we can't do an incrementation. So whenever we increment the value of J, we're going to check if the hash set is the maximum that we found so far. If it is the maximum, we're gonna increment the maximum variable here, but since the maximum that we found at any point is 3, so we're just going to return this value once we finish off the computation, right? So that's kind of the idea here. So to code it out, so the first thing that we need to do is we need to declare a hash set here. So character set new hash set. Wait, that's not supposed to be it. So yeah, I did the right thing and then I changed it again. So we need to declare two pointers. So I'm just gonna explicitly name it as first pointer and then second pointer. And we also need to set a max. So we know the maximum length of the string with unique characters. And then what else do we need? We need the character array for the string, so it's gonna helpful to have that. So I'm gonna get that. I think that should be it. I don't think we need anything else. So we're gonna start the while loop here, and then we're gonna loop until the second pointer is less than this dot length, which is the length of the string that we get, right? So we need to do a couple of checks here. We need to check if uh, if the hash set does contain the character. So the way that we do that is we check if um, the set contains the character. So you know what? Let's check if the let's do a check if the hash set does not contain the character. So if it does not contain the character, we need to add the character to the set. So just gonna copy it now. And then once we add it, we need to increment the second pointer. And the other thing that we need to do is that we need to update the value of max to the maximum that we found so far, right? So set dot size and then max. Yeah. So if the set already contains the character, we need to remove the character at index I, which is in this case it's the first pointer, and then we're going to increment the index the pointer first pointer to the next position, right? So that's what we're gonna do. So the way that we do that is we're gonna call set dot remove and then array of first pointer. We're gonna remove that and then we're gonna increment first pointer. So I guess that should be it. At the end, we're just gonna have to return the max that we found. So if it runs, yep, submit, see if it's a pass all test cases. Alright guys, so that's pretty much it. That's how we solve this problem. We just use the sliding window technique to have two pointers, and then we check if the second pointer's character is already in the set, and then if it's not there in the set, we add it to the set and then increment the second pointer. But if it's there in the set, we remove the character on the first pointer location and then we increment the first pointer so that we move along the substring, right? So that's kind of the idea of solving this problem. So thanks for listening. See you again tomorrow with a new problem.